Hello and welcome into TalkFCB and welcome here to the quarter-final stage of the Champions League. It's Manchester United against Barcelona, and believe me, this is one we have to get through. Whatever it takes, whatever we have to do, we must win this game, we must win this tie. And the simple reason for that is Barcelona have been eliminated at the quarter-final stage in the Champions League in 4 out of the last 5 seasons. 4 out of the last 5 smacked out in the quarters. We can't have that here. We cannot see Barcelona eliminated at this stage again. In 2014, it was Atletico Madrid who put us out of the Champions League. In 2016, it was exactly the same team. In 2017, it was heartbreak at the hands of Juventus after that incredible comeback in the previous round against PSG. And in 2018, do not even get me started on Roma. It was catastrophic. But sandwiched there in between all of those results and sandwiched there in between those years is 2015. The year of our most recent Champions League triumph, and it wasn't only the Champions League. In that year, we also secured our second club treble, a historic year for our team, and on Saturday, against Atletico Madrid, we put our hand on the La Liga title. We're in the Copa del Rey final, and right here, we have the quarterfinals to play for. Could this be another historic season in the history of our club? Possibly, but it starts right here. It starts with getting past the quarterfinals. We have to do that. We cannot make the same mistakes that we have in the past. All of that now is out the window. This game, and this game only, it's our priority, and one we cannot lose. Today's video is coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, guys, which you can download in the description down below. And it's really important, I think, to stay in touch with all of this Champions League action. 4 quarter-final games coming over Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Official lineups, in-game stats, everything you need to know from all of the major leagues right there on the OneFootball app. Because all of these games here are at the same time. Juve and Ajax is going to be exactly the same time as our game against United. You want to stay updated, and you can do it right there. And on the OneFootball app, 66% of the 300,000 that have been voting there on this game predict that Barcelona will get the victory, but only 66%. I feel there, guys, like we need to get on the OneFootball app. If you're on there, get that voting figure right up in Barca's favour. You guys have been voting, though, on my community section, and as always, in these kind of games, just like the players, you rise to the occasion. You're confident, you're in good spirits. That's what we need, because you believe we're going to be winning this game, and winning it there by 2 goals, which would be massive on the night there in the first leg. And kickoff will be coming to us live from Old Trafford in Manchester at 8 PM local time, and what should be there an unbelievable occasion. 2 historic clubs coming together, coming to a crescendo. There is only one winner, though. We have to do this. We absolutely have to. But I want to talk first and foremost about form, and then I want to talk about this rest that we've heard about United having over the past few days. But first and foremost, it's all about the form for me, because obviously we've heard about Solskjaer, their revival, how he's turned things around at United, but what nobody's really talking about is United's past few games, where I feel they've had a genuine slump under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. After their comeback against PSG, which we've spoken about in a number of details, but most importantly, after that game, 3 out of their last 4 games have been losses. They've had 3 out of their last 4 defeats. That's very, very important. And I would say there, they are suffering right now with a lack of confidence once again. You look at it there with their games. They lost against Arsenal. That was Solskjaer's first domestic loss as Man United boss. Did they get back from that? Absolutely not. Just days after that, it was followed then by another loss. Yet again, back-to-back defeats there. And this time, it was against Wolves, knocking them out of the FA Cup in the process. In a performance there that was described by many, even United fans, as by far the worst of Solskjaer's reign at the club. And it almost took United back there to the days of Jose Mourinho. And then, prior to the Watford game, Man United came out. They felt they needed to come out and say, Solskjaer is our man. We're going to appoint him there on a 3-year contract as the full-time manager. And for me, it was actually quite a strange time to come out there and actually announce that and sort of confirm that he's going to remain there on a full-time basis. It was almost like United there were trying to stop the rot. They were trying there to pick up these players once again and try and get that positive spin, that positive lift. And it almost seemed to work. Initially, they beat Watford in the Premier League, but to be honest, that performance there was anything but convincing, could have easily gone the other way. And it wasn't really the United that we've seen in the early days there under Solskjaer. But again, they couldn't really maintain that form. They couldn't really sustain those kind of results. And once again, in their final game here, before they're going to play us, they lost to Wolves. Despite leading that game, United ended up losing 2-1 thanks to a Chris Smalling own goal, with Ashley Young also being sent off there in the second half to add to their misery. And ultimately, those 2 big Premier League League defeats in there to Arsenal and to Wolves. That's cost United, because when you look at the table here, it is not good reading if you're a United fan. Even with those early wins under Solskjaer, they still remain outside of the top 4 and in 6th place there in the Premier League. They're currently 3 points away from Tottenham, 6 games to play now in the Premier League. But you look at that gap there to the top teams in the Premier League, United there to the top. Let's not forget their biggest rivals there, City, Liverpool. They're 19 points behind Manchester City and they're 21 points away from Liverpool. That has to hurt if you're a United fan. But I also want to talk here not only about form, but also about the significant amount of rest United have received in the build of this game because, of course, they were knocked out of the FA Cup by Wolves in that poor run they've been on, and in doing so, that meant they didn't have a game at the weekend, which basically meant prior to that Premier League game against Wolves, they will have had 8 days, 8 full days there of rest prior to Wednesday's game. Barcelona, on the other hand, we've only received 4 days of rest following that game, of course, last weekend against Atletico Madrid on Saturday, which, as we all know, was a very high-intensity game. And so given the big difference in the rest times between the two clubs, United having double the amount of rest we have coming into this game, it might surprise you, but I would much rather be Barcelona coming into this game. And those United players, I guarantee you, they would think the same thing, simply because of this. If you're a professional footballer, if you're confident, if you're winning games, if you're scoring goals, all you want to do is go onto that pitch and play. It doesn't matter if you have 4 days rest, 2 days rest, 7 days rest, all you want to do is get back out there again, get another win, get another goal. That's all you want to do as a player. And just like Barcelona have been doing over the course of the past month or so, we have been on an incredible run. We're fit, we're firing, and when you're playing like that, all you want to do is play. You don't feel that tiredness. And in these kind of games, we are never going to come into this game and feel tired. These players here will be motivated, they'll have that adrenaline running through their veins in the build-up, and they will know they're arriving here on a fantastic win at the weekend. That gives us an enormous amount of confidence. It wrapped up the league title. What is a better way to come into a game than what we saw on Saturday? The Camp Nou singing Campeones. All of these players right now are so high on confidence, and I just think we're in a great position. We are in a great position coming into this game to really have a good go at United, whereas United have been sat at home for 8 days. Number one, watching most of their Premier League rivals all get a win, which is never ever nice. Number two, they've been watching us win. Solskjaer was at the Camp Nou on Saturday. He was watching on as Messi, Suarez was tearing up Atletico Madrid. And number three, the most important one, United there have been sitting down, resting, but knowing they've lost 3 of their last 4, knowing they're not confident right now, knowing they're in a bit of a slump. Confidence is not high. They're not feeling good. And even with that rest, it's not exactly how you want to prepare for such a big game like this. It's not the mindset that you need coming into this one. But if we now move on, guys, to the official squad list, which stands as follows. And what has basically happened here is that Ernesto Valverde has taken everybody at his disposal to Manchester with him. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Sergio Busquets. Todibo is in the squad, but he is not registered for Champions League play, so he won't play any part, but he's travelling with the team to boost morale and really to experience this kind of match on the road with Barca. Coutinho, Arthur, Suarez, Messi. Dembele, as of yet, has not been medically cleared officially, but he is expected to get that before the game does take place, and he did look really strong in training yesterday. Citizen has recovered from his injury. Malcolm, Longley, Murillo, Alba, Kevin Prince Boateng, Sergio Roberto, Vidal, Umtiti, Carlos Alenia, and Iñaki Peña make the trip to Manchester, and this right here is the team that I expect from Valverde. And obviously, I spoke at length yesterday about the tactics going into this game in the tactical preview. This is basically what I'm expecting to see from Valverde. Ter Stegen in goal, Alba left back, Longley and Piqué here. I'm just edging there for Semedo over Sergio Roberto, but Semedo is 1 yellow card away from a suspension, so if he gets another one, he will miss the second leg there at the Camp Nou against United. He's the only player who's 1 yellow card away from a suspension. Busquets, Arthur and Rakitic in midfield with Coutinho, Suarez and Messi. Coutinho here getting the nod on the left-hand side. He knows United well, of course, as does Suarez, both having played for Liverpool. They're arch rivals in many ways. Every single one of those players is going to give everything on Wednesday night. I fully believe that, and I would be confident in this team to get the job done. So all that remains now is for my score prediction, and as you know, in these kind of games, I'm always going to back Barca. I always believe that we'll step up, we will deliver, and especially right now, we are in an incredible vein of form. I'm going to go Barcelona 2, Manchester United 0. A comfortable away victory, a well-fought win. That's what we have to aim for. That's what we have to do here. Get as much of an advantage as you possibly can heading into that second leg. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you, of course, after the game tomorrow. I cannot wait. And I know you guys are exactly the same. We must not fail. But until then, as always, Vesca! El Barça.